and talk about some measuring tips. We practiced measuring a ton this year. We measured a lot with centimeters and with meters. And I know that you remember these things, but sometimes we forget, so I just want to remind you real quick. So first of all, when you're measuring, doesn't matter what you're measuring, it doesn't matter what tool, we start at 0. We always start at 0. So not always the edge of the ruler. We make sure we're at that 0, because if we don't start there, our numbers are going to be off. So all I could find was this little tiny ruler. I don't even know if you can see it because it's kind of see-through. But I have the edge of my ruler here, and then the 0 is over here. So make sure we start at 0. We are measuring with inches this time instead of centimeters. So make sure you have the inches on your ruler, which are a little bit bigger than the centimeters. Remember, a centimeter is about the size of our pinky. Inches are closer to 2 of our fingers together. Okay, the other thing we need to talk about is what happens when the thing you're measuring falls between 2 numbers. We have talked about this before, but I don't want you to forget, and I don't want you working with halves or anything like that. So if I'm measuring something, won't be this marker, and it's under the halfway mark. So if you look in between all these numbers, there's a halfway mark, which is marked in between them. Okay, if it's less than that halfway mark, let's say it fell right under that 3.5 mark right there, I'm going to go to my lower number. This is called rounding. I'm going to round to my lower number. It's like estimating. It's like, well, we're going to go to that number. So in this case, if it's less than that halfway mark, I'm going to go down to the 3, the lower number. I'm going to say it's closer to 3, and that's what rounding is which number is it closest to? Well, if it's less than halfway, it's closer to that smaller number. But if we were measuring and it's halfway or more than halfway, so if it was right at the halfway mark, then I get to round up to the bigger number. If it was between the halfway mark and there, it's obviously here, it is closer to this bigger number. So rounding just means what number is it closest to, which is pretty easy. We can always go with that. It's just the halfway point we need to remember. Halfway exactly goes to the bigger number. It's just the deal that we made. Okay, so those are the reminders there. And then the other thing is to measure something more than once. If you only measure it once, you might get the answer wrong. So measure it more than once to make sure you have an accurate answer, and then record your work. All right, have fun measuring this week. I can't wait to see your measurement monsters.